Welcome to Recaps with CineMax. The Purge series has always been at the receiving end of mixed reviews, and the latest installment in the series, The Forever Purge, has been subjected to similar treatment from fans and critics alike. The series, which started as a hack-and-slash thriller with several jump scares, tends to stay true to its core, but this time, it takes a western set in the Wild West amongst cowboys and outlaws. Set 8 years after the events of the Purge, election year, which saw the new Founding Fathers of America, NFFA, and their candidate, Minister Edwidge Owens, defeated and Purge Knights banned. Unfortunately, the NFFA is still active. This film could have delivered much more but fell way short of its expectations. The Purge series has always focused on topics that people seldom talk about out in the open. It deals with class differences, exploitation, racism, xenophobia, American paranoia, and of course, bloodthirsty killers out to kill each other just for fun. The Forever Purge, though, is a generic dystopian tale that is less serious than The Hunger Games or Resident Evil. Except for the fact that compared to these two series, this film has a lot of blood for the audience's liking. Even if the scene isn't gripping enough, there is still blood being shed on the screen. With bad people taking over the society, there comes a fall in civilization and everything goes south. The Forever Purge continues the bloodshed that was maintained in the series with the previous 4 films. It is set near the border separating the United States and Mexico, and the plot revolves around Mexican immigrants who have relocated to escape the violence that comes with drug cartels and people that have hijacked parts of their home but only to find out that things are just as bad in the north. The protagonists, Adela, Ana de la Reguera, and Juan, Tenocherda, get work in the small town of Texas as a meat packer and a ranch worker, respectively. The couple relocates to the United States to figure out that the U.S. is undergoing a purge era, and it is a bad place for people like them. It's a bad place because they are just regular laborers who expect to do their work and get paid for it. Imagining that they would end up gunslinging in a matter of days isn't something they imagine doing, even though it is pretty predictable for the crowd. Because what other weapons exist in the West, right? The couple realizes that the entire country is just a bottomless abyss. Several citizens are addicted to rage and are willing to hurt others because committing violence makes them feel in control and authoritative. Even though that makes little sense, that is what happens in the film up till now. As mentioned earlier, members of NFFA are still active. They are willing to get the purge reinstated and do a continuous practice so they can freely exterminate the native people and the minority groups that exist. Plus, throw in the immigrants, too, because what is the point of your existence if you're not white, right? Other small-scale militia groups and gangs are indulged in similar activities for their political motives. Finally, to complete the existing group of psychos, some garden-variety criminals and psychos have no moral codes and want to go on their rampage whenever they feel like it. This movie had an impact on those who watched it closely due to its resonance with real-life events where the Mexico and USA tussle has been going on for some time now, ever since the Trump administration came and went out of power. The brutality in the film reflects the recent political turmoil America has gone through not long ago. Not just they, though, as Spanish-speaking citizens of America have been a target of hate crimes as well. The film's plot eventually leads to a racially mixed bomber crew where people are running for the Mexican border to escape American violence. Canada, because of its utmost friendliness, offers Americans asylum for a limited time. Limited time meaning for as long as they come. The Forever Purge seems to be screaming out the message that Native Americans and the descendants of the slave need to have an uprising like this now and then to send out the message of equality. The end product of this film offers a mixed flavor of ice cream that comes out to reflect America's political situation at the time while also noticing that the franchise is a stirring and free-floating channeling of anxiety and rage into a stew pot where characters dip into it every few minutes and serve the audience with a taste of violence. But moving towards the political side of things, the movie doesn't progress in terms of the story laid out in the Purge franchise. At least there are a few poetic flourishes when a neo-Nazi prisoner chained in the back of a police wagon listens to the array of guns going off during their drive and identifies each make and caliber by sound alone. That's as American as it gets, right? The individual performances in the film are the standout acts of the movie, with De La Reguera and Herta delivering solid performances and whose reactive close-ups have silent movie expressiveness. Even the supporting cast did a neat job in portraying a little bit of empathy that was needed along with being bloodthirsty killers wherever it was required. The movie's final third introduces the nasty Nazis and bad guys who are only a little worse than the Nazis themselves, only to be killed off by our main characters. An enjoyable ride with quite many snoozes in between, The Forever Purge is good to kill time if you want to watch a lot of blood spilled and cowboys in that time.